Creative iOS apps from Pixite are an integral part of my workflow, from documenting in Zinnia, logo design and assembly, to colouring in Pigment. Try a creative app today that's mobile and contextual to your unique creative process.
Okay, so we're back. We did her skin, the background, and now we're gonna have to move on to the hair and the dress. So let's do that. Now, I've been thinking about the color for her dress, and I was really thinking pink, like a nice bright pink and highlighted. So I'm gonna just try this pink and see how it goes. So I'm gonna do the dress first and the hair will be last. Well, I should say this little birdie on top and the flowers and the hair will be last. But those are the main parts that are gonna take the longest. So let's do the dress. Go to airbrush. Now, I was thinking of doing it a bit brighter here. Really want it to kind of stand out, maybe doing the bow a little bit of a lighter pink. We'll see. I am actually really liking the bright pink so far. It stands out. Kind of matches the flowers happening in the background a little bit as well, which is nice. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer. It's been really nice here lately, so we've been enjoying ours. So I'm just going to continue filling this in. I might do these little hearts in a different color, but I might not, just because it's a lot of tedious work for, I just find sometimes it looks nicer all one color in this case, but I might do some highlighting. We shall see. Yeah, I really like that pink. Really stands out quite nicely. So I'm happy about the choice. What made me think pink is because these little hearts. And it just kind of reminded me of, she's very feminine looking, and I just thought pink would be a nice touch. I'm probably gonna do the belt wrap around, that's wrapped around her waist. I'm probably gonna do that a different color, so I'm not worried about being perfect around it. Yeah, that pink is nice. Now, what color to do the bow? I'm almost thinking I should color the bow after doing the hair because it's over top. So maybe I don't usually do this. I usually finish something that I start, but in this case, just want to add a little bit of highlighting there. And then if you did even a little bit of, do I have a white in here? Yes, I do. A little bit of If you find your highlight is too much, just use the same pink you used to color the dress to blend. Not a huge deal. Just kind of have to play with it, right? Okay, so I was thinking on moving to the hair. I almost think brown, like I always love to do such funky hair, but we just have so much going on with the background and everything. I'm almost thinking of just doing her hair. I just want to try it. A really nice deep brown, or you know what would be nice? Something neutral, something neutral. And I think here it might be nice to do like a gray black almost. Let's do that. I like that so far. I think it kind of suits her. So let's do the gray black. And I'll add some deeper colors to make it look more black, but I like doing it more a dark gray to start because I like to see what I'm coloring. And if you do it black right from the beginning, it's really hard to see what you're doing. So I opt to do it a dark gray first. Sometimes it works out to be like a silver hair color, which is also cool. So we'll see where this takes us. I think it was a good choice to do the gray. It looks nice. Blonde would also be nice on her, but we're gonna stick with this color for today. Something to balance out all the bright colors I think is nice, because we're using a lot of bright, flashy colors. Don't be afraid to flip your page around if you need to. Just watch you don't mark up what you've already colored with your finger. kind of almost thinking of making her like a non-gothic gothic girl, if that makes sense. Like making it all bright and cheerful, but having a couple dark elements in there. Maybe some black nail polish. We'll see. Yeah, I do like this color. I think it was a good choice. Obviously, we're gonna have to do some shading and highlighting. I'm just getting the color down first. See how much darker it looks under her chin? That's because of the shading that's already in place there. So remember to stick with the grayscale. Don't work against it. I'm not going to color in super far there because I don't want it to look too dark under the wing. So I'm just going to go to the edge of the wing. Same with right here. I didn't plan on doing such a dark color for hair, but now that I am, I kind of have to be careful in this area. So instead of going in here with that dark hair color, I'm just going to do brown. Not quite brown, almost like an off. When I do these little areas, I either take out, like this would be a time where you could totally take out the technical pen and it would work just as well, if not better, for these little areas. You get those crisp lines if you want to, you know, sharpen a line that isn't quite together. Just make sure to follow your lines here. You don't want to go into the skin or anything like that. Take your time when you're coloring these small areas. Zoom in as much as you find to be comfortable, because zooming in really does help. You want it to look accurate and together. See, this is a line. There's not a finished line here, so you kind of have to make it up yourself, which is why I switched it over to technical pen, because I want a crisp shaped line, whereas airbrush is more of a blending type line. Each tool has its purpose, And if you get familiar with all the tools, you'll be able to implement those effortlessly as you color. You'll know that something would work better than what you're using, or you get it. Important to learn the tools. Try them all. Just from starting to use other tools I never used before, I find that my coloring has improved significantly, because you learn where those can be of use and then you start using them. So it really does make a difference. So I'm really digging this hair color. I think it looks great. Might as well just fill the rest with the technical pen too. Technical pen has a nice wide spread, which is good for easy, fast filling, and has a very accurate, shapely edge. Just remember to lift your pencil off the page once in a while, because if you press the back button, then you end up losing a whole chunk of hair like what I just did. And you have to adjust your brush size with the technical pen, I find, especially in small areas. It just makes it a little bit easier to get in accurately. Make sure you're not doing that, rubbing your finger across your screen. So I need this color more in here. Hold on. Just noticing something. This is actually skin in here, so I need to add a little bit more shading in there. Make your lines as crisp and neat as you possibly can. And like I said, zooming in really helps that. If you make a mark while zooming in, just press the back button. That's just me hitting the eraser button as per usual. So I just wanted to get this hair done because it goes underneath the bow. Just makes me have to be less cautious when I'm coloring the bow, I suppose. also nice with the technical pen because you get that nice wide spread that just fills really quickly when you're away from the edges. It's one thing about grayscale, you can't just hit the button and go fill, you gotta do it yourself. But that also teaches you a lot of control, and that can really help develop your skills as well by coloring freehand and not just filling. It is time consuming, but I find that I've had so much, most of my growth has happened since I started doing grayscales, which has been quite a while now. Okay, so the hair is filled in. Now I'm just thinking if I should do her gloves right now while I'm on a roll with this. But what color should her gloves be? Maybe a very light pink. I gotta fix this area first. Don't want to use too dark of a color. So I was thinking this pink would be nice. Maybe not. What color should her gloves be? color should her gloves be? Maybe not quite as dark of a pink. Yeah, maybe something like that would work. Found the light pink was, the really light pink was too much like her skin color. So I do want some, difference there. Blur is also an easy way to fix mistakes and things. Like I just had a line there and I blurred it and now it's gone because it was similar to the colors that I used in the bush anyway. Another useful hint or tip. Now the lines are very light back here, so that's a hint as to this should be almost like a faded area. That's why I didn't want to use anything too dark. Sorry, I keep on noticing things that can be blurred or that should be blurred. Maybe I'll match the bow to the color of her arm wraps. Seems like that would go over well. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to have to highlight it a bit too after I'm done coloring it in. And I might have to color the bow a different color because it kind of overlaps with this and I want some contrast. I don't want it blending into each other. Just fixing stuff as I go along. My line wasn't crisp where my skin ended, so I use the airbrush to blend it quickly because it blends nicer than using the technical pen. Just little things I always kind of fix up as I go when I notice. So all these little details do make for longer time coloring, but it also teaches you a lot about how to color by taking your time and doing things a different way than maybe you normally would. So depends on how you look at it. gonna try something after I'm done filling in these arm colors here. They're her wraps. I'm gonna try something. Might not keep it, but I'm gonna try it. I'm just finishing filling this. I know it takes a while, especially when you're trying to make your lines perfect. Okay. So we did the arm wraps. Now I just want to see what it will look like if I go in with my blur brush and I blur them. First of all, I missed the part under here, just as I thought I was done. Super intricate area too. Just fixing up the hair, and then I gotta color in this one other small piece. Okay, now that's done. Now I just want to add maybe a little bit of shading and a little bit of highlighting to these gloves. You want to have detail on these gloves, even though they're kind of faded back there. You still want to have details. So I'm doing some shading and some highlighting, as I always would. I don't know if they look good blurred or not. That is to be maybe if I bring it down. It's because it almost looks blurred behind the wings to begin with, like they're very light. So I thought maybe that might be a nice option. Yeah, what the hey, I'll leave it for now. Okay. Now I'm wondering if I should do like a funky color for the bow. Like something like that. Nice dark blue or something. Want a little bit of contrast in this dress. I'm in the Golden Midnight palette, in case anyone is wondering. Yeah, I like that teal with it. It looks nice. Let's go back to our technical pen. It's a little bit easier to fill in these areas sometimes, so you can fill it in with a larger brush size, then use the smaller brush size around the edges if you need to. So I'm just going to continue filling the bow, fixing up any areas I notice need fixing up as I'm going along. And then it's going to be the same as like shadow highlighting, getting all your details in there. If you notice, I always fill in everything first. Doesn't matter if I have pink going in my bow, I have gray, it doesn't matter. So it's really important to think out how you're going to color your grayscale, especially if you have lots of details. What needs to be colored first to be like less time consuming. It will help you a lot if you think about your picture in those terms. I'm not done her hair either, by the way. I'm just getting my colors filled in here so I can see my picture and know what I'm going to be doing. And then that way I just have to do the details, which is my favorite part. Filling is just filling, so I'm pretty quiet when I fill. There's nothing too genius about filling. You just gotta stay within the lines. The first lesson you probably ever learned about coloring in school is to stay within the lines. And that's all we're doing right now. Almost done filling this bow here. I'm glad I went with a different color besides pink for the bow. I think it looks nice. Has a nice contrast, but it's not too bold. I think it works really well. And there we go, just like that, our piece is getting closer to being done. Like I said, the flowers and the bird and the wings are going to be the last thing to be done. Let's go back to Golden Midnight. Actually, you know what? Let's go to an even brighter type blue. Let's go to Vapor. And we're going to add some highlights in our bow. Using a lighter blue for the highlights because I like layering my highlights so they don't look one-dimensional but three-dimensional, and then you get more of a realistic pop-out effect to your coloring that way. I'll outline the gloves in white or something, I'm not sure. And then lighten it up a little bit more. Bring your brush size down a little bit, or up a little bit, sorry. And make your highlights a little bit more dominant, but keep it more isolated than and less widespread than the first highlight that you put in. Okay. Even add some sparkle if you wanted to that bow. Just taking a stretch. Let's get back to the hair. So I'm just gonna add some highlights. Just to the lightest parts of the hair, you can see where they are. Adding a little bit of shine to the hair. Then I'm going to go down to the grays and actually grab the black. And I'm going to go around and add a little bit more darkness to some areas, add some more shadows. Very lightly using the airbrush to apply the black. Easier to add the black after than to start off with black, I'll tell you that. If you ever want to do black hair, it's much easier to go over a dark gray after and just kind of dab it in where you want it, because you'll have to peel away some of that black if you do it all at once, and it's harder to see what you're trying to do with it. If that helps anybody. Make some stronger highlights throughout the hair. Because the hair is black, I'm probably not going to go through it and add all like little strands. Maybe just in some areas. directly where the highlights are is a nice spot to have them. I'm adding more strands than I thought I was going to. Go to blur if you want to blur any of the rougher edges of that hair. Kind of blends all the edges together so they don't look so jagged. So we used blur quite a bit in this piece. Okay, so I think the hair looks really pretty. I like the black on her. It stands out nicely. Now with her nails. I was thinking about doing a dark color. I was gonna do black, but I don't think I'm going to. Maybe just stick with like a dark. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe let's do like a nice light color, completely opposite of what I was going to do. Adding a little bit more highlight to up there. When your piece comes together, you can really see where it needs to be balanced more. It's why I say it's a good idea to always go back to your piece and analyze. And if you do make changes, just be cautious about what you do, because you don't want to ruin the beautiful work that you did put in, and you don't want to have to go back and fix it too much and make it hard on yourself, right? Just kind of want to fix what you think needs a little bit of tweaking. You can always tell after you've started to color and finish a piece, you can always see where those little added details are gonna really start to look nice. This is where we start fixing stuff up and getting ready to finish. We're not quite finished. We have 3 more spots to finish up, and I will be back shortly to do that. It's break time, been an hour. See you soon.